copyright app photo. Susan Walsh AP fileElizabeth Warren, who recently announced she would be a Democratic presidential candidate for the 2020 election, called for Congress to begin impeachment proceedings against President Trump. Citing the severity of misconduct detailed in the report by Special Counsel Robert Mueller, the severity of this misconduct demands that elected officials in both parties set aside political considerations and do their constitutional duty. That means the House should initiate impeachment proceedings against the President of the United States, the Massachusetts senator wrote on Twitter. The severity of this misconduct demands that elected officials in both parties set aside political considerations and do their constitutional duty. That means the House should initiate impeachment proceedings against the President of the United States. Elizabeth Warren at a Warren 19 April 2019 G. Warren also claimed that the report proved that Russia had interfered in the 2016 election with the goal of helping Trump, and showed that the president obstructed the investigation into that attack, despite the fact that Mueller did not come to a conclusion as to whether Trump obstructed justice. Warren cited a segment of the report where Mueller wrote that Congress has authority to prohibit a president's corrupt use of his authority in order to protect the integrity of the administration of justice. Read more. Trump mocks Dem candidate Warren over Native American claims to ignore a president's repeated efforts to obstruct an investigation into his own disloyal behavior would inflict great and lasting damage on this country, and it would suggest that both the current and future presidents would be free to abuse their power in similar ways, Warren wrote on Twitter. Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel quickly replied to Warren's comments, saying Trump was just exonerated after 2 years of Democrat lies. Democrats' calls for impeachment have been bogus all along, but Elizabeth Warren is proving how truly desperate they are to appeal to their radical base, McDaniel said. Other Democrats in Congress, as well as the party's 2020 candidates, have avoided saying whether they believe Trump should be impeached so far. Many have instead called on Mueller to testify before Congress, and for the public release of the full, unredacted report. On Thursday, U.S. Attorney General William Barr said Mueller did not find any evidence that the Trump campaign conspired with Russia to interfere in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Barr also said Mueller's report did conclude that Russia tried to influence the U.S. election, but no American was part of those efforts. Russia has repeatedly refuted any claims of interference in the U.S. political system, saying the allegations were made up to excuse the election loss of Trump's opponent as well as deflect public attention from actual instances of election fraud and corruption. Let's block ads. Why?